extraordinary amount of shit that I'm going to catch for this whole $1 Million Highway and pigtail thing, I'm just going to go ahead and ask a friend of mine to come and give his opinion. He did it too. He was there. Let's see what he says about the whole situation.
I'm good. Whenever you are there, Flip.
All right, let's do this. This is weird.
So on my end, I'll tell everybody who you are. You're Flip. If you don't know who Flip is, what the hell you do it?
I don't know.
So Flip and I, we actually met on the Guinness World Record longest poker run. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it was. It was always like, what are you guys doing? I always forget to add the Guinness part of it, because I always think people think it's a beer.
Yeah, I know. Or I just totally twist everything up wrong and had to start again. And I finally just had a big, long poker run. 32 miles. And then
right. Jesus. Let's see how to do this. All right, so everybody's going to give me a crap load of shit for the problems that I had at the $1 Million Highway, not including the pig trail, including you guys actually did it in your own video. Thank you for mentioning me.
There is no guardrail, which we're used to that. I was just thinking of Flip Oz moment, like, what the?
Yeah, you rode the pig trail the other day, and he's like, what the hell do y'all have against guardrails? He's like, I need to change my drawers.
Well, thank you for mentioning me. But you actually mentioned a lot of things in the video that mirrored a lot of the things that I was saying during the whole situation, which was like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into in some of these situations, and you don't know how your body's going to react when you get to those things.
Of course, for me, I come up on this, never rode it before, I start stiffening up in the shoulders, you know, instead of just relaxing and letting that hip sway around with the bike and put the moves on the road.
Yeah. The $1 Million Highway wasn't a twisty. It wasn't a mountain road. It was a cliff.
Yeah, so, you and I have talked about this a lot too. Riding a motorcycle. Well, a lot goes into it. It's depending on how your bike's set up, how you feel that day. I mean, it's a lot of variables. And one thing that I've noticed that affects me a lot too is how people pump the road up. Mm-hmm. So they may talk it up and kind of get in your head, which is the worst thing. The most important thing, like we talked about quite a few times, is ride your own ride. And on the $1 Million Highway, you need to ride your own ride.
I'll probably run in, I'm guessing, in third most of this. Kind of curious to see. That's about what I run in when we're at home on the pig trail. I run third gear in and out of the fuel, trying to not use as much brake, you know.
Not try to keep up with anybody, or it's one of those things. I get it if you want to ride with somebody, but you need to understand that you got to ride to your comfortability.
Well, especially a situation like that. If you're riding with somebody, you got to ride with somebody that you know how to ride with. It was just like, because the $1 Million Highway goes from like general mountain roads with like swoopy stuff to literal cliffside. There's a car coming out of a blind corner. Like the road is maybe 14 feet wide. Like it's scary. But
that's a good question, because I don't know how wide, but it does get tight. And depending on which side you ride on it, you're either tucked into the cliff, or you're on the outside of the road, which are on the cliff edge.
And if people are on the outside, they tend to tuck in more because they're just as freaked out as you are. Yeah. I remember one corner so vividly that like scared the shit out of me, because the rock side was also coming up over you slightly. Oh God, that was awful.
That's another thing, guys. If you're riding your ride, like Steph and I, we're really taking it in. First time we've ever done it. Plus, we're recording, capturing everything on camera, and we're taking our time. If you have people fly up behind you being peckerheads, when you get a good pull off, you get a chance, just pull over and let them go on.
You know, I mean, when you're riding that thing, it's not only are you riding it, you're trying to take it in as well. And for me, and for you, which a lot of us, people that ride don't do this, but a lot of us are starting to do it more, is we want to record our adventure and our trip down this amazing road. So, you're trying to get those shots. You're trying to remember to turn the camera on, the position of the camera. It's Steph and I both riding for us. Our experience is 2 up always. So we're talking, communicating, also relating to the camera, what day it is, what temperature it is, what road it is, a little bit of insight on just what's going on.
The ambiance.
Yeah. And then taking in the scenery, riding the bike, and then you got to deal with, like you said, oncoming traffic or someone up behind you or all the things that goes on in 1 second. Someone turning, bird swooping, and she's telling me something, camera goes off, something, it's just tons of stuff.
Main thing I can already tell is I'm wanting to look around and I don't need to be. You're trying to take it in and also run the road.
So besides the fact that I needed to steal your footage, which is half the reason why I'm asking you to do this, it's just the sheer fact that in your video, which will be linked in this bottom, you mentioned things where, like, you said, like, your shoulders started stiffening up. There's one point where you're like, Steph's talking about what's going on, and you're like, I'm not looking, I'm not moving my head, and it's... I remember, like, Britt and Fred are like, oh my god, look, there's a whatchamacallit, there's like an old mining shaft. I'm like, I'm not looking. Hands at 10 and 2, directly in front, like...
Yeah, and then once again, for me, it depends on how much sleep I got the day before, what's going through my mind, just a lot of things. And sometimes I jump on that bike and I'm super laid back and relaxed. And I just flow better that day. And that day I remember we had tried to ride the $1 Million Highway before, and it closed it down due to a fire.
Let's also mention that those, like, the day before and the day after, like, every day was, like, by the hour of what route we're supposed to take because there was mudslides left and right, and the roads were closed. We actually thought the $1 Million Highway was going to be closed that day because of mudslides.
Yes, and that's another thing that we were dealing with on that ride particularly is we were doing the Guinness World Record longest poker run. So we needed to stay on route. So we had apps directing our route so that it could monitor our movements, know our mileage. The
most important thing about the ride was that we needed exact mileage. So it's not like you could take a reroute.
We had some people go down in the...
day before.
Yeah, in the ride, they actually went down.
And we wouldn't get any information for the next day until right around 11 o'clock to midnight because the organizers were always in the back and they always, like, were the last ones in. They had to deal with everything else during the day that we wouldn't get any information for the next day until midnight. How many miles have you done in the last 3 months?
Whoa.
You just got off the... Okay, no. You just got off the road. How many days, how many miles?
So I need to look, and I don't need to lie, but it's close to 12,000 this last 49 days here. We just got back in a few days ago.
And the reason I bring this up is just because, like, I live in Florida, everything's flat and straight, and I am a capable rider, I am a competent rider, but I'm not an expert rider, and I will never say that I'm anything more than I am. You, on the other hand, live on that motorcycle. You ride, you grew up in the mountains. Like I'm saying, it's not unusual for you.
Yeah, so we live in the Ozark. So we got the Ozark, which we had the picture of. We're teamed up with a picture of Harley Davidson. Proud to be mentioning that, by the way. And you got to ride some of our roads up here, so you kind of got to see what we ride. Yeah, and we got some tight, amazing, crazy roads.
The first turn on the pig trail, the very first turn where I realized where this is a new world, was that first switchback that goes up like 60 degrees. I'm like, my life is different now. That was...
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's a corner. You got to get around the damn corner, right? Not fall over it.
Yeah, but if you're in the outside lane, it's tight and there's a drop.
Yes. And then the inside lane, you know, the rise on the curve itself, so it's a corner, okay? And then it has a rake on the corner and then a rise on the corner. So you're dealing with multiple compounds there that you're going into.
Can you give me 2 seconds, TJ? I'm sorry. Battery died real quick. Oh, God.
I'm used to that.
Yes, full bars. Yay.
Back up. Yeah, so the corners that we're going through there, you're dealing with it's pretty strategic going into the corner alone, looking at it.
And it's like the first corner. It's like it's your introduction to what's about to happen to you.
Yeah, I knew you were coming up on that, and like we had just started really kind of getting to know each other, and I was starting to pick on you pretty fucking good,
No, as you should. Steph, on the other hand, was sitting right next to you. Like the day before, I'm like, "What's the $1 Million Highway?" She just starts laughing at me and walks away.
Yeah,
not a clue what I was getting myself into.
Yeah, I think we.
And then making fun of me for guardrails. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, so you can see as it begins here, like it's known for, it doesn't have any guardrail at all. And it does want to make you tuck in here tighter to the mustard. Just be honest with you. It's gonna take me a minute to kind of adjust.
Yeah, so like between the pig trail and the $1 Million Highway, like it was strange for me because I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of falling from heights. So there's just like something happened, like. It's an irrational situation. My body just stopped, kind of a thing. I couldn't tell it what to do. It just did what it did. I mean, I got through it. I persevered. I pushed forward, whatever. But my brain was not stopping. Like, it was weird because every time I would try to scoot over to the middle of my lane, my brain would have the weird target fixation thing where it would all keep sticking me back to the yellow. And I'm like, cars are going to hit me, and I keep trying to, my brain just did things that I didn't know it was going to do. And it's just one of those things that you never know what's going to happen until you're there.
No, that's just it. And then so we've rode quite a few miles, and I'm pretty comfortable, but I still get tensed up.
Yeah.
Like I said, that has to do with a lot of what's going on that day, and then people, hopping up the road. And, I mean, really, dude, a few months ago, we just got off the Tail of the Dragon. And I heard so much shit about the Tail of the Dragon. And be honest with you, the most dangerous thing about the Tail of the Dragon was eating breakfast that morning. Parked on a little bit of hill. We're totally loaded.
Yeah.
Step all our gear. I went backing up really slow, 0 miles an hour, turned my head, looked back this way, and bam, dropped the bike. That was the most dangerous thing was eating breakfast. On the television.
Oh, also the fact that I was on a motorcycle I've never ridden. I don't like twin cams. I'm sorry. Like the new Milwaukee 8s, they're so much more nimble and they function so much better than the old twin cams. And there was such a big dead zone in that throttle that if you didn't hit it, it wouldn't turn on in a way. I feel like I was running on one cylinder. Also, completely loaded down with 120 pounds worth of freaking equipment that I needed to take with me.
So there again, Flip, we get into a lot of things right there, man. So over the last few years, Steph and I, we ride fast, hard, and heavy. And what we found out is your bike and what you have on that bike. What I'm talking about is we're talking right now about suspension. We run Legend suspension. We're sponsored by them.
I got some of those on my Sportster.
Okay, so guys, we did their rear with the Revo A, and then the front with the Axio. So that's what we have on and we got a 2019 Road Glide Special. And it has a stage 2 in it, if anybody's wondering. So you kind of know where we're sitting there. So as we have been riding, we have been setting this bike up and going around and learning about these products. Now that right there will change your ride. For me, to put the Legend suspension on, it caused my balls to really swell up. I mean, I got so much more confidence in my ride after that. We had a twin cam. We actually had it stolen 2 years ago in Daytona. We had our twin cam stolen. So we got flown home, and we ended up being able to get on this Milwaukee 8. Totally different machine as far as response, like you were saying, in the throttle, as well as handling, all the way down to your braking. Because it's all good. Once you're riding those curves, you're actually working all that together in a coherent movement.
My foot didn't leave the brake. My hand didn't leave the brake. Everything was set in stone. It's not getting off until my butthole loosens up.
Dude, that's it, man.
Oh, God.
I know. And I noticed I got the biggest kick out of you, Flip, man, whenever we got to Eureka. And the first thing you said was thing against guardrails. I'm like, hey man, we're the natural state. We like everything to be natural. But it isn't. I mean, we don't even want to fucking hit a guardrail, but it still is like I'll bounce off the guardrail and not fall off the damn cliff. But you go from Pig Trail, Harley Davidson, and you're talking about, $1 million highway. It's a lot of difference in height there. It really messes. We rode.
Yeah, the Pig Trail, it was a drop, but it was like an incline drop. Where again, $1 Million Highway was a cliffside. You're going straight down. You're not rolling.
It's crazy, man. After that we also went up and rode the Road to the Sky. Holy shit, that's another one, man. Unbelievable. We went to Glacier up there.
Mm-hmm.
After that, up there, that was a super great ride there. Another one I want to throw out there for anybody that's just looking for a great road is we rode over to the Sequoia. So Sequoia Park over there where they have Half Dome and El Capitan. We rode out of there. That ride out of there is amazing. You look down, you see all the switchbacks going back underneath you, going back. It blew, and the ride goes on and on and on. So one thing about $1 Million Highways, guys, if you haven't rode it, or you have, you know what I'm saying here. If you're going to go ride it, enjoy it, because it only lasts for a little bit. Like, I was hoping there was more. And I kind of looked back at Steph in the mirror, and I said in the center, I was like, is it over? And she goes, yeah, that was pretty much it. And I was like, shit. So it's a lot at once on $1 Million Highway. It's just a lot to take in.
Having a lot of fun with a flip on this ride. Flip
Okay, so this is the thing. Out of this, and I know this is going to sound super corny and shit like that, but out of this whole thing that we did the Guinness World Record Poker Run is about the people, and you're definitely the highlight of the trip.
Oh.
We've started a good man, and so out of all that right there, that's the positive thing that I took out of it.
Yeah, we met 2 years ago, and we've had maybe 30 minutes worth of conversation in 2 years up until that. So.
Yeah, man, we just didn't know each other, and it's amazing that's the good thing coming out of putting yourselves in a position where you're usually not, because you're going to have to deal with some shit that you're not used to and deal with people you're not used to. So you do really grow, but at the end of the day, just not my cup of tea. Proud to do it, but like you said there, one of the highlights was the $1 Million Highway.
Good or bad, it was a highlight.
Oh, yeah, and there's so much history there going through there. And Steph, she reads up on it as we're on the road. Like she does. She looks it up just like anybody would Google it. And she reads about this stuff. And then, so we're learning as we're riding. So the experience that we get, we're getting it firsthand. You're getting to see it from our eyes the first time, because the last 3 years, we've just got to this point where we're getting to get out and adventure.
And that was actually called Red Mountain Mining Overlook there that we were at. And of course you can see that the mountain there has a lot of red in it. That's where it gets its color, that's where it gets its name. It's from the color. You'll notice that a lot of the creek beds and stuff will have some red, a lot of bright orange red look to it. So there's not a whole lot of aquatic life here because of how much minerals, lead, silver, other minerals that are within the water and the soil and in the ground here.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I didn't know that. I did have a bird, I was going to tell you, flew through and hit me in the knee earlier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's
That's
one less creature out in the wilderness.
Ride across the country. We've only been doing this for 2.5 years. So all this stuff to us is new, man. It's like super exciting and super intense. It makes me really think about home, as weird as that is. When I get back home, I think about what we've seen out on the road, and when I'm out on the road, I think about what's back home, and it just really builds on, your personality, and then being on a motorcycle too. It just makes you a better motorcyclist.
Well, TJ, thanks for talking with me and giving us your insights on the fact that you never stop getting freaked out on shit like that.
Fuck no.
Guys, TJ has his own channel, Ornery One. He is Ornery One. Him and Steph. Go check them out. They're great. They have way longer content than I do, which is what most people complain to me about. Like, shut up! I don't want to hear you.
Fuck.
Thank you for having a very comprehensive video on the $1 Million Highway.
Well, that's all Steph. Right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Steph tells me what to do. I'm the guy that rides the motorcycle and grows a beard. That's all.
Nobody questions if she's the brains, man.
But at the end of the day, it's about being out there and enjoying the motorcycle, enjoying our culture. And that's one thing I'm proud of, Flip, that whatever we do, we're promoting the motorcycle and the culture. And we don't need to let that go, and it doesn't need to die. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about us, motorcycles, and love. I know it sounds corny, kind of cliche, but I have no room for egos or bullshit. So at our channel, it all stops. We all get along or fucking fuck off.
Thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. Guys, go check them out.
See you guys.